Hello and welcome everybody, I am Brandon, and today we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct that happened this morning, as I'm recording this of course. It totally came out of the blue. I just woke up this morning and apparently Nintendo had already announced that they were doing a Direct this morning without really telling anyone at all. I do sort of like the surprise aspect to the whole thing, but I would have liked a little bit of time to prepare at least. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to go over all the Nintendo Direct news and more on another episode of the shit you care about. Okay. Alright everyone, so just so you know, before we get into this, right at the beginning of the Nintendo Direct they mentioned that every date that you see is subject to change, thanks to the coronavirus of course. So definitely take any of these dates or release announcements I am telling you guys about today with a grain of salt. Moving forward, the very first thing they kicked off the conference with was Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I know a lot of people are really excited about this game. I personally have never really had a lot of attachment to the Xenoblade series or any of the Xenogears or anything like that. That being said, I know my Twitter was exploding this morning with a bunch of Shulk fans and a bunch of Xeno fans out there freaking out about the Definitive Edition finally coming to Switch. I think this was a game that was sort of stranded on Wii U, and now they're finally kind of giving it a new home on Switch, and I definitely think you're going to kind of see a resurgence or a new crowd of people coming to this game because of that. And all I really have to say is that I've never really been invested in this game franchise at all, and I thought it was really funny hearing Shulk's voice for the first time actually.
The people of Bionis will never let you triumph!
I guess I expected like a normal old like raspy boy, you know, anime situation.
Believe it!
And he has like this like manly British accent, and it was very off-putting for me. People are really excited about it. I hope you guys are too, and that was Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm glad that we're finally getting a complete edition of that. Next thing up, 2K Games came out and they announced 3 different titles actually coming to the Nintendo Switch very soon now. So we're going to be getting the BioShock collection. This is something that's been on PlayStation and Xbox for a long time now, but finally coming to Switch. We're also getting the Borderlands Legendary Collection. This is going to be Borderlands 1, 2, and the Moon one. I'm forgetting what the name is of it right now. Borderlands the pre-sequel, god damn. Point is, we're finally getting that coming to Switch, along with XCOM 2 collection. I'm definitely excited to see some first-person shooters coming to the Nintendo Switch. I think that's a genre that they were really missing on that console, and it's nice to see especially these classics kind of coming to a handheld thing that you can take anywhere. And it generally ends up being a pretty good deal as far as money spent to time played goes. You're getting quite a few games here, and all of them are like classics everyone enjoys everywhere. Next up was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 DLC. They're actually releasing the 3rd DLC expansion now. They're calling it, I don't have it in my notes here, of course. It's called Shadows of Doom, idiot. God, jeez. Anyway, you're going to be getting the Fantastic Four added to your gigantic roster of characters, the ever-growing Marvel universe on the Ultimate Alliance 3 here. And also you're going to be getting kind of a new story mode with, it looks like it's heavily involving Mr. Doom. What was his name? God damn. Dr. Doom. I'm more of an MF Doom guy myself.
Don't talk about my mom, Joe.
But it seems like it's going to be a pretty cool story, and I haven't played this game, but I bet I've heard good things about it, and I bet people who like doing Marvel stuff are excited for more Marvel stuff. This is the 3rd of the DLC that are coming out for the game. They were unclear if this is going to be the last one or not. I know game developers love to do the DLCs and 3s. More Marvel Ultimate Alliance for you guys, and if you like it, let me know down below in the comments, I suppose. I forgot to mention that this DLC is available now. Okay, next up is Shinkai Into the Depths. This is a new Capcom game coming out. I'm pretty sure they showed this game off at E3 or maybe even like an older Nintendo Direct or something like that. I definitely remember seeing it somewhere. It looks pretty cool actually. It's like a Castlevania, Metroid sort of looking thing. Maybe even has some roguelike elements, but it's all underwater and it looks like there's a really cool like jumping mechanics and breathing and stuff like that. Seems like a pretty neat game. I'm actually kind of excited to try it out myself. That is also available today, and more Capcom stuff. I'm always down to see Capcom doing new stuff. So the Animal Crossing free update is coming very, very soon now. It's going to be the Bunny Day update, which is it's pretty much Easter, I suppose. Once Zipper is in your town, he's going to give you a quest to find all the eggs on your island, and through finding those eggs, you're going to unlock limited time items from the egg series, as they say. It seems like every item is just egg themed, so if that's something you're interested in, I would grab that before it goes away. That's gonna be April 1st through the 12th. I imagine these events are mostly internet based, so I don't know if like you were to skip time if you would still get Zipper on your island. It definitely seems like you have to be there for the update for it all to kind of come together and work. So I'm kind of curious to see how, when all of this is said and done, if you're still going to be able to go and open Animal Crossing and then access Bunny Day later on. Probably not, to be honest. They also mentioned that another free update is coming very soon. In fact, the end of April, we'll be getting a new update for Earth Day, and apparently it includes some other stuff like that. Moving on, they had another little indie game called Good Job, where you kind of seem like you perform a bunch of little duties for your dad's job, and there's like a lot of different levels to his job, a lot of different tasks you're taking on, and it looks pretty silly, kind of like a fun little indie game. I heard some of the people I follow on Twitter talking about it and saying that it's totally worth picking up. I'm not sure about that, but it looked pretty fun and neat. I kind of like the silly safety sign art style going on there. Next up is Catherine Full Body. This is a game that has been out for quite a while now. I'm pretty sure it came out back on like the Xbox 360 and PS3 first. It's made by the same people who make the Persona series, so it has a very similar art style. It's a really good visual novel game, and it's a puzzle game all at the same time. It's pretty excellent. If you've never played it before, give it a shot. Alright, there's going to be a Ring Fit Adventure free update. It's going to add some sort of rhythm game mode. I haven't gotten a chance to play this game, but I heard recently that it was totally out of stock everywhere, because apparently people were freaking out when all this went down and trying to get their Ring Fit Adventures as soon as possible so they could keep working out at home or something. It's going to have 17 new music tracks from games like Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and even Splatoon 2 apparently. They're also adding a female voice option for the Ring Companion throughout the whole game, and a bunch of language options so that anyone can play it around the whole world. They're also adding a jogging mode, so you can just do the jogging part of the game if you want to and not do any of the battles or anything like that. It seems like you're missing out on some of the game there, but hey, you can do it maybe if you play it a lot or whatever. That is also available now. Next up is King's Bounty 2. This looks kind of like a really boring tactical RPG that I would personally not be interested in at all, but if it seems like something that you would like, I thought I would talk about it. I don't think it's been out on any other console yet. I think they're planning a release on Switch first in 2020 at some point, and I've honestly never heard of this series, but they were talking very highly of it. Seems like it's kind of focused more on like sets of units compared to like single characters, like something like Fire Emblem would be. Looks like it has a pretty generic Lord of the Rings fantasy vibe to me, if I'm being honest, but that is also coming out later in the year. You would have thought that this next thing would have been a bigger part of the direct overall, but they really just kind of, I felt like, shoehorned it into the whole thing, and they did talk a little bit about the Super Smash Bros. Fighter 6 that will be coming out. I don't think they decided to do a big show for this because it's obviously a Nintendo game, so I don't think they're really in any rush to tell people who exactly it is or why they made the thing they did. But it looks like we are going to be getting an ARMS character into the game. I would imagine they're gonna go with maybe I've never played the game if I'm being completely honest, but the male and the female you see in that game most regularly, kind of the two main characters you see on the cover and stuff like that, they're the most recognizable as far as marketing goes. And there's also, you know, obviously it appeals to a wide audience. I don't think they're going to end up going with kind of a weird side character like a lot of people want on Twitter, but that is pretty cool that they're giving us a little bit of Smash Bros. News, I guess, to keep us going and make us not suffer waiting, knowing who the next Smash Bros. Fighter is. Bravely Default 2 was up next. This was kind of, I think, the big highlight of the Nintendo Direct. They talked for quite a few minutes about this one, a lot more than they did other stuff, and wow, this game looks damn good. It totally looks like a classic Final Fantasy game with the crystals and the job system, and it really reminds me of Final Fantasy 3 on the Nintendo DS a lot. It almost even seems like a spiritual successor. Maybe I've just been out of the Bravely Default franchise. I haven't really played any of the other ones, but wow, this is just totally a Final Fantasy game right off the bat. The backgrounds that they were showing with the 3D character models looked really cool, so as you kind of change perspective, you get this cool storybook look with the setting that you're in, and then with the 3D models just kind of exploring that town. It looked really, really neat. Anyway, the demo is out now, actually. I really love how much they just announced right now, like things are here today, and there was a lot of stuff that they don't know when it's gonna come out, but I think they kind of counterbalanced that with just being like, it, we'll just, drop it now since you all are at home anyway. They then briefly showed off Clubhouse Games Worldwide Classics. I totally think this is a game that should have came out with the Switch when it released. Nintendo has always released like Wii Sports and stuff like that, or I shouldn't say always, but when they released Wii Sports, it was one of the most highest grossing games on the console, and I really think this would have been a really cool addition to see when you bought a Switch. Right off the bat, you get a bunch of board games and stuff like that. I'm totally a sucker for this sort of stuff. Solitaire, air hockey, chess. That's fantastic. It all looks great, and I like seeing kind of a big bundle of all that stuff. And I really think this is honestly going to pander to a lot of an older audience who maybe isn't buying a Switch for something like Bravely Default, but they just want somewhere that maybe they could play all of their backgammons and such. I'm totally down with this sort of thing. This game comes out on June 5th, and genuinely I think this just looks like a bunch of really cool fun. The list keeps going on because they ended up packing a lot into this 30-minute segment with Ninjala. It's a 8-player battle royale ninja game, as they described it. When they were actually talking about the gameplay, it seemed less like a battle royale and more like a deathmatch or like an arena sort of thing, but they insisted on it being a battle royale right off the top. It's free to play, of course. It looks like a free to play game, if I'm being completely honest. And Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy is up next, and that game is available today. And they actually added in multiplayer this time instead of like back with Jedi Outcast when they didn't add that in at all and just give you the story mode. You can do multiplayer. I don't know who has 8 other friends who are also playing Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, but you can do that if you'd like to. And it's probably one of my favorite Star Wars games ever made. You get to go right off the top by making your own Jedi, getting a lightsaber right in your hands, and really just getting to play with being a Jedi and, having fun in that Star Wars universe. There's a lot of really fun moral options you get to choose from too, and overall it's a fun game if you like Star Wars and are looking for something to play. They briefly touched on Star Wars Racer, which is not coming out anytime soon really, or they didn't really give us a release date, but we will eventually be getting a Star Wars Racer port over to the Switch. I think this is a really neat title to come over, especially because it used to be an N64 game, so kind of a little callback there, I imagine. Also, one of the best Phantom Menace things to ever exist, so we're getting really close now, but first of all, we have to talk about Panzer Dragoon Remake, which is a game a lot of people like. I don't really get it, but if you get it, go for it. That is out today, and it's an exclusive on the Switch right now, believe it or not. You can't get that anywhere else right now. So if you like Panzer Dragoon, here you go. Alright, it's that time of the show. Cue the montage. Trials of Mana, April 24th. Fuser, Fall 2020. Elder Scrolls Blades, Spring 2020. Warhammer 40,000, Mechanicus, May 2020. Vigor, Closed Beta, April 9th. Burnout Paradise, Remastered, 2020. Saints Row 4, Re-elected, March 27th. The Legend of Heroes, Trials of Cold Steel 3. Go fuck yourself, what a ridiculous, stupid name. Jesus Christ, Mr. Driller Drillland, June 25th, and Minecraft Dungeons, Spring 2020. And last but not least, they talked a little bit about the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass that we will be getting here in June, the end of June. It's going to be part 1 of their 2-part expansion pass situation, and it's going to be called the Isle of Armor. I have talked a little bit about this on my last Nintendo Direct video, and you can go watch it right here. It looks like you as a trainer will be training at a dojo and will get a Pokemon called Kubafu. He's a legendary fighting Pokemon, and you'll choose one of 2 towers to face, a dark and a water tower. Once you arise to the top of that tower and you complete all the stuff inside of it, you will then get your Kubafu to evolve into a water or a dark version of his other self. I don't have that written down here. Good job, Brandon. And you also will get cool new Gigantamax evolutions of whatever starter Pokemon you picked. Of course, there's going to be tons of new hairstyles and outfits to wear for your Pokemon trainer, along with a lot of new borders and bullcrap for your Pokemon trainer card. Like I said earlier, it's going to be available by the end of June, and you will get a bonus outfit if you pre-order it before that. So if you are a hype beast for Pokemon, I recommend you get on that right now. Anyway, we are finally to the end of that 30-minute direct. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'm Brandon. This is the shit you care about. We were talking about the Nintendo Direct for March 26, 2020. We got a buttload of new announcements today and some things to look forward in the future. Once again, take all of the dates with a grain of salt, people. Remember to like the video if you like what I do, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and I will see you next time. Have a kick-ass week.